God's will. So if I do God's will, what am I supposed to get? What kind of muscle? Spiritual muscle. Spiritual fortitude. Spiritual authority, so that you'll be able to do what God called you to do. Now, this is something I want to teach you. In the Gospel of John chapter 4, and cameras on myself right now. And here's what happened in John chapter 4. There was a woman that was in various relationships, 5 different men at different times. And she was living with a man that was not her husband. Okay, so she had a little psychological, little emotional cycle going on, an identity crisis. Okay, now watch this. When Jesus was with his 12 disciples, the Bible says he was tired. All right, you going out of what? Oh, okay. So Jesus was tired, and he sat down at the well, and you can imagine rubbing his feet because he's tired. So he sends his 12 disciples ahead, and when he sits down, he runs into what we call the Samaritan woman. Everybody say Samaritan woman. All right. Samaritan women are like the cousins to the Jews, like the offspring to the Jews. So between the Jews and the Samaritans, there was a big fight, and they both felt they were the chosen people. Okay? Now watch this. When she sits down with Jesus, all right, Jesus kicks up a conversation and starts talking about living water, and that I got water that you can drink. Remember, this was the Bible said, right? I got water you can drink that you can have new what? New life. And what Jesus is doing, he understands why he's alive, what he's supposed to bring to people. What? Living water. What does water do to the body? Like you speaking. What does water do? Heal the body. What else does water do? What else does water do?
Hydrates the body.
Hydrates the body. What else does water do? Anybody? Huh?
For the body, like energy sometimes.
Energy?
It revives you.
It revives you. It quenches your what? Your thirst. So we see 2 things in this story. I want you to remember this. Thirst and, well, we got water and meat. 2 major things to keep you alive. Your what? Your water and what? And meat. I know people are vegetarians, I understand that. But here's what God is saying. You need meat and water to make yourself feel what? Revived. And if you don't think that you can change your community and change your world, you won't do it. If I keep telling you that someday it'll change, one day it'll change, one day it'll be this, what does that make you do automatically? Someone says one day it happens. Someday it's happening. Say it again. It'd be far away. What else? What would you say? If I say to you one day it'll be better, one day it'll be better, one day it'll get right. What does that automatically psychologically say to you? What does it make you get tired? What else does it make you do? Come on in. Oh my God. Oh my God, come on in. Yeah, there's some over. Yes. Right there. Sit there. We're doing our Bible study. Come on in. Yeah. So watch this. I want to show you this. I want your girls to understand, and I love this. This is powerful. Meat and water are 2 things that Jesus did that transformed this lady's life. Meat and what? Water. And those were 2 things that changed this lady's life, because Christ gave her meat and he gave her what? Water. Spiritual. And she was changed from that day forth. Now guess what Jesus could have did? Jesus could have did this. He could have said, he could have met the lady at the well and said, you know what? One day what? You'll be all right. You know, one day you'll be delivered. One day you'll get it right. What would that make you feel? You going through a problem and your friend say what? One day. What would that make you say to yourself? What would you say to yourself? Would you like that? What would you like? Why?
Because one day never comes.
Exactly.
Ooh, one day never comes, right? So I don't want somebody to tell me that one day would be better. What would you want me to do? Help me to what? Get better. See, and if you don't initiate it, if you don't help someone If you don't pray for someone, if you don't reach down and be an example of someone, that person stays what? In their problem. You know what? The McDuffie household, my mother and father's house was a house where a lot of the young folks hang out. They used to have a softball team named Crash Crew. And all these guys that came to my house had a lot of problems with their mother, their father. They came out of jail. You know who house they hung at? Who house they hung at? McDuffie's house. You can never come home and not find an empty house. Look at it. Keep smiling. You know what I'm saying? because found familiar. Why do you think everybody want to hang around our house? Why? Why?
Family oriented.
Family oriented. These are adopted mothers and adopted fathers because they didn't have fathers and mothers, or they didn't have the parents that cared about them. So Ruby and Isaac, Pastor Mike, and a lot of our brothers, we played family to these guys, and they came over and got their lives changed. What did I give these brothers? What did I give them? What? Meat and what? Water. See, I fed them and I changed their lives. I didn't do this. I didn't say, one day it's going to be all right. One day it's going to get better. Who decides what day to get better? I do. And that's what happens. What you got to think. You got to start saying to yourself, I can change my world around me. I don't have to wait till tomorrow. I got enough of God's word, God's spirit in me, and I can bring transformative change. I don't have to wait till later. See, one of the most dangerous things that has escaped into the church doctrine is that things get better later. Who knows how slavery came to an end in America? Anybody know? How did slavery come to an end? Anybody know?
It kind of faded away.
Kind of faded away. Let's see if that's true or not.
Well, not faded. It still hurt here.
Okay? Who gives me some history about slavery? Anybody know? Wow.
President Lincoln.
Civil War.
The Civil War. Bring it to me. What happened? Civil War. Give me a little bit. What happened? Civil War. Come on.
Like the men in
Yeah.
North and South, they fought Civil War.
Let's look, y'all. Go ahead, Phil. Wipe your face. You live. Hello, Lee Broxton. Hello, Pearson. Hello, Kenneth. Came in senior. God bless you, Reverend. God bless you, Anna Adam. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, Clark. God bless you, China. So we got a live audience here. What happened in the Civil War? What happened?
The North and the South.
Over what?
Over the issue of slavery.
And with the South wanted what?
The South wanted to keep it, and the North wanted to abolish.
Is it because they love black people, or it's based on a business issue versus cheap labor versus free labor?
Cheap versus free labor.
Okay. So Abraham Lincoln did what, Kaya? What did Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln signed the
Emancipation of what? Thank you, Titi. All right. And that's supposed to be in the year of 1860 what? 1863, supposedly. But according to some historical study about Black Lives Matter, they did some study on this. We really wasn't free to probably supposedly like 100 years later. All right. More symbolical than anything else. But are we free today totally?
No.
Why aren't we free? Why?
The government and president want to own us, and we know these slaves, and we always got to follow their laws, and if we don't, then we go to jail, or we get killed, and yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Somebody else. Are we free today totally?
No.
Why aren't we? Why don't we feel like it? Anybody? Some police brutality. All right. Some. All right. Go. Anybody else? Go. Still held back economically. Who needs to make the changes? See, we do. See, and that's the point I want to make. I don't want to put this thing off on things only happen later. You have to put the destiny in your what? Hands now. Now, Kaya, please read to me John 4, and I want you to read to me, go to Gospel of John, my daughter. Gospel of John in your Bible. All right? And I want you to read to me verse 28, 4:28. I want to see what happens when a lady runs into someone that got the meat and the water. Someone that knows how to change lives. Okay? Who has it? Kaya, read it out loud, please. John 4, verse 28. Let's see what happened. Read it out loud. Come on.
The woman left her water bottle and went her way into the city, and said to the men, "Come see a man which told me all things that ever I did."
Okay.
Is not this the Christ?
It's not this the who? The Christ. Now look at everybody. Let me explain this to you. I want you to be close to it. Back in the biblical days, they lived in a different era than we do now. So today, we don't think about the Christ, we don't think about religion, we think about TV, guys, girls hanging out, playing basketball, sports. But back then, their minds were focused on one thing: who was the Christ, who was the Messiah. So everybody was sitting around waiting for this guy to come named the Messiah. All right. And everybody was waiting for him. The Jews, the Samaritans, they were waiting for this guy to show up named the Christ. So all of a sudden, this Samaritan woman who got a mental problem, a psychological problem, is talking to the Christ and don't know it's the Christ. Now I want you to write this in your notes. The word Christ means the anointed one sent by God. Say that. Say the anointed one sent by God. And that's called the Messiah. All right. And they was waiting for him to show up. Now, could you imagine this? Now, let me ask you a question. We saw that lady standing in the down river. We saw that lady. Remember standing there? Was she clean? What did you notice about that lady? What did you notice about her? She needed help. Whatever she saw in her. What? On drugs. She's lost. Who's supposed to help change her? See, it's hard for us to say that. Because we go, whoa. Because we want to put it on what? Somebody else. But guess who's supposed to help bring the change? We are. But know what we are? We are so tied up in our own personal business and our own lives, we don't think it's important to help change our community. But that is why I'm doing this Bible study at McDonald's restaurant. Because I think it's time out for the old folk to be doing everything. We need some young teenage ladies and some young teenage men who are going to shake up the game. That means that you are determined to change the world around you. But you got to know how to change the world. You got to know how to do it. And it is not beating folk over the head. What are some things that you don't like about church folk? Anybody? What bothers you about church folk? All right, hold on. Go ahead. What about church folk? What at a time? Tell me something about church folk you don't like.
They talk too much.
Okay.
They're very nosy.
Okay, I got you.
They're very fake.
Okay.
And they're not true.
Okay. A nosy, fake. All right. Somebody else. Church folk. What about church folk?
They always want to tell you what the Bible says. They quote scriptures, but they don't live by it.
Wow. Quote scriptures don't live by. Okay, so
Oh yeah, they money clinchers too.
Okay. TT, your daddy watching right now too. What's something about church folk maybe that you don't like sometimes?
They gossip.
Gossip. Oh, they talk about people, right? How many of you feel sometimes church folk are very judgmental? They look down at you, right? All right. They look you up and down. They look at you. They say, them shorts too short right there. Pull them shorts down. Right?
Or they bring you a prayer.
Or they bring you what?
Prayer call.
Bring your prayer card. Well, guess what? There is the difference between church folk and the church. And the term church means called out ones. What group is this tonight? What? Why is it church? Why is it? Who called you out? Who called you out tonight? Who called you out? Who called you out?
I did.
How you called them out? What you did?
FaceTime?
First time. You got on the phone and you called who? You called out who?
Yes.
Call out.
TT.
Call out. Call out.
Sorry.
Call out. She called herself out. All right. Called out.
Hey, look.
All right. Called out.
I tried.
All right.
She ain't my mama though.
But guess what happened? A phone call was made and all y'all was what? Was called out. Did everybody get the phone call? No. I called Kaya, the evangelist, called all y'all to the meeting. I'm not giving you time to make a point. Called you out on a Wednesday because y'all was motivated to hear the word of God because you're going bowling afterwards. but I use that mechanism to call you here because it's my job to train you how to do what? And what's the job? To do what? Change your what? World. Change the people what? Around you. And I don't have to wait till later. I don't have to put it off till tomorrow. I can start changing my world what? Now. How many know I changed that lady's world right here a few minutes ago? How do you know I changed? Say it again. Pray for her. What else? What you was going to say? And so she walked away. And I don't think she was the same afterwards. Because I did what? I prayed. So this is what I'm trying to show you today, is that there is a way to change the world around you without waiting for something to happen later on in life. I am sick and tired of hearing this word. I hear all the time on TV, amongst church folks. One day it's going to get better. Someday it's going to get better. Whoever heard that song that Dorothy sung in The Wizard of Oz? Someday over the what? Rainbow. And we always look that later on something can change. But how many know that you can change your future now? How many know that? You can change your world what? Now. And I'm going to show that to you. All right? Kaya, read. Somebody else find me another scripture. Read the same scripture. I want someone else's voice besides Kaya. I want always the preacher daughter to read it. All right? John 4. Who got verse 33 from your Bible? Anybody?
On your right.
Put it in my right? All right, go ahead, Kate. Read it. John 4. And my service is swinging in and out, so I need you to read real loud, Kayla, my assistant here. John 4, verse 33. Go ahead. No, well, read verse 32. Start from there.
Okay. But he said to them, I have food to eat that you know nothing about.
I have food to eat you know nothing about. Go ahead.
Then his disciples said to each other, Will someone have brought them food?
Now let me ask you a question. Why would the disciples assume that someone had brought Jesus food? I want y'all to think with me. I want y'all to think with me. When he first sent the disciples away, what did he tell them? He was what? What was Jesus? All right. Go to John 4. Let me show this to you. All right? Read me John 4:4. Wait a minute. Gospel of John 4, verse 4. Follow along. Kayla, read verse 4 out loud. I want y'all to see this because I'm going to tell you why sometimes we as young folks are tired and we're mentally worn out because we're not doing what the scripture says. Kayla, read to me John 4, verse 4. What did it say?
Now he had to go through Samaria. So he came to the town of Samaria called near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus tired as he was from his way, sat down by the well.
What was Jesus? He was what?
Tired.
Now here's something you remember. Though Jesus Christ was God, he was also man. Which means you get what? Tired. Have you ever been tired before? Yeah. You ever get time with the sleep, got some rest, right? What was Jesus? He was what? Tired. Now, so he sent the disciples ahead of time to go buy food. And he sat and he was ministering to a lady that had what? Some problems. As he talked to her. Now, let's jump back to the same verse. Read to me verse 31. Kayla, John 4:31.
There we go.
This is the Gospel of John 4:31. Those watching it live. Go ahead.
Meanwhile, his disciples urged him, Rabbi, eat something. But he said to them, I have food to eat that you know nothing about. Then his disciples said to him, Could someone have brought him food?
Now, here's the thing I want you to see here. I want y'all to see this. Don't miss this. And understand it. I'll give you a real good answer. It's not a churchy answer. It's a real answer. If Nazaria, right? I got it. Said to me, Pastor Mike, I'm tired. I'm going to sit down here and you go across the street and go get some notebooks and come back. Right? And I saw you sitting down there tired first. But then when I come back and I saw you sitting up straight and your personification was different, what am I going to assume? You're not tired no more, or I'm assuming what? If I'm weary, if I'm tired, and I come back and I look at you and now you're sitting up straight and your strength is back, you've been revitalized. Maybe someone brought you some what? Some food, which means you're not in the same state when I first left. Your state was what? Changed. What changed Jesus' state? Talking to the woman. Do you know what happens when you help someone else out? What happened to you? You get better. You know when you say, hey, kid, how you doing today, girl? I love you, girl. That gives strength to me. You know when you're a friend of someone, what happens to you? You feel better. See, there's nothing worse than being selfish. Selfishness will cause you to lose strength. See, I'm going to teach you something. And this is something I want you ever to forget in life. Love is all about how you give to others. And when you give to others, you know what happens to you? What happens to you? You get strength back. Whoever ever use a water hose and try to sprinkle water on other people? Whoever did it before? Have you ever noticed that when you put water on other people, somehow you get wet too? You ever notice that? Which means, yeah, because what happened is, as you sprinkle on other people, the water gets back on what? Gets on you. So I'm asking myself a question. How many church youth who love the Lord takes time out to sprinkle the Lord on other people? Because when you do that, you get your strength. You get your power. Jesus Christ was empowered because he helped somebody else out. You know why a lot of young folks are tired today? Why they tired? Why, y'all? Why? You're not what? We're trying with time. Y'all listen to me. You got to connect us to the story. Jesus was no longer tired because he did what? Jesus did not look tired anymore because he did something. Why did he look tired anymore? He helped the lady out. He did God's will, and he did what God told him to. And when he did that, the disciples came back and said, by the way, did someone give you food? Because you look the same. That means when you do what God tells you to do, when you help people out, you get new strength. Let me ask you a question. Does Pastor McDuffie look 53 years old? Hey, bro, how you doing, man? God bless you. That's all right, man. God bless you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. God bless you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Brother gave me a high five for Bible study. I love that. Thank you for encouragement. God bless you, Krista, my president. God bless you, Tanya Slaughter. God bless you, Janara. God bless you, Marcy. Why do you think my aging process why I look younger than most preachers that people Never said I'm right. He's my healthy problem. My doors don't crack. Let me tell you the key to you from this. Love God and help people. Don't forget this. Love God and what? Help people. Love God and help people. And you will change the world around you. And helping people don't always mean you gotta quote scriptures or be deep and spiritual. Just be friendly. Help someone out. Help while they're going through a tough time. Pray with someone, and you'll be amazed how their hearts are touched because you touched them. Jesus Christ changed this woman's life because he did what God told him to do. But here's the key scripture I want you to see. Watch this. So I'm going to keep it abreast of the time. A little time, okay? Read to me verse 34, okay, one more time, all right? This is John Gospel 4, verse 34. Thank you. John 4, 34. And I need you to read it clear and loud, all right? And you're watching SITU live at McDonald's restaurant. God bless you, Michelle. Some cleanse. God bless you. All right, go ahead.
Not that I accept you in testimony.
Wait a minute. John 4, verse 34. John 4, 34. That's all right. Gospel of John chapter 4, verse 34. Okay, I'll read it to you. It says, my food, it says, Jesus, is to do the will of him who sent me. All right, y'all with me? To finish the assignment. And then he says this in verse 35, and I don't want you to get this. He says, don't ever say 4 months later, then comes the harvest. Look, that's what he said. I'm going to read this again. Don't you ever say later on you could do something. Later on it'll be better. He said, don't say that. Don't ever say 4 months later, then here comes the harvest. Anyone here like watermelon? Anybody? Who likes watermelon? All right. Who likes cherries? All right. Who likes apples? Who likes oranges? Okay, what are all those? What are those? Fruits, okay? Now, let's say I wanted to go outside and eat some oranges, right? And I saw all these oranges on the trees, right? And I said to you, boy, one day I sure like to have some oranges. You know, 4 months later, I'm gonna have some oranges. What you gonna say to me? What you gonna say? What you gonna say to me? If the oranges are outside on the tree, make a plan so we get this, all right? They sitting outside. And I'm sitting here and I tell y'all, boy, I sure like to have some oranges. You know, maybe 5 months from now, I'm gonna have some oranges. What would you say to me? Huh? Would you say what?
It's outside.
That means the oranges. I'll go deep. Stop going deep. The oranges are already on the what? Trees. So what's keeping you from the oranges? Me. So you're not supposed to say this. One day it'll be better. One day God will change you. One day Christ will come back and change the world. Guess who's supposed to change it? You are. You are the change. You are the trendsetter. You are the trend makers. You're not supposed to sit around and hope stuff will get better. You're supposed to make it better because the kingdom of God lives inside of each and every single one of you. And that's the biggest problem I have with church folk and this rapture message, because we put stuff off to later what we can do what? Now. Stop putting off later what you can accomplish what? Now. And that's what I'm doing. What am I doing right now with you girls? What I'm doing right now? What am I doing with all y'all superstars right now? I got superstars, all these superstars. What am I doing right now with you? What am I doing? Training you up. Changing the mindset. What else am I doing?
You guys just see how I'm living.
Say it again.
I ain't got to prove nothing.
Okay. What else you got? What else am I doing? Am I taking our time? Am I spending time? Am I showing love? Am I taking time out to put gas in my car? All right. Could I be doing something else? Could be. But guess what I've decided? To invest in my daughter's life and to invest in her friends is the greatest investment. And guess what kind of strength I'm getting here by doing this? What kind of strength I'm getting? I'm still aging slowly. All right? Why am I aging slowly? Because I'm doing what? Helping. I'm helping. So loving God and helping you out slows down the aging process. You would never, let me tell you something, you would never look your age if you love God and help people. Let me tell you something, here's the key to looking young. Help God, love God, help people, but also keep healthy and work out like Rashawn. We understand that. But I'm showing you the two major things is this: loving God and helping people. Don't look the other way in school when you see fellow students and fellow friends who struggle and need a hug and need some love. I'm going to share this testimony with y'all. I work at a job with a man that probably a lot of folk at the job don't want to talk to. So when I go to work with this guy at my job, I'm speaking in code, I spend most of my time listening to him what? Why do you think he talks to me all the time? Because everybody else does what? Or they walk outside, they leave him by himself. So he looks up in the ceiling and he says, no one cares what? So what I do when I sit down, what do? I go and I sit and I what? And I listen. And I listen. And I listen.
Wait, question.
Go.
When you listen,
I like that. You know what I have to do sometimes? I gotta force myself what? And keep what? Listening. Which means love means you sacrifice. It means you gotta get into it and really give him a listening ear. And do you know what happened? As I started to listen to him, I started to get into some of the pain he'd been through. He lost a loved one. No one pays attention to him. And this is what he told me and brought me to tears. It's a true story. He said to me, he said, "mcduffie, I'm leaving the job." I said, "You leaving?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I gotta go." And he says, "I won't miss too many people, but guess who I will miss?" What did he say? He said he'll miss me. Okay? And this is so deep. And guess what? And guess how you think I felt?
You were happy and sad.
I was happy and sad. I was like, you're not coming back no more? What had happened now? He had an impact on what? On my life. Which means at first it was like, oh God, I hear him talk all the time. Now I start saying what? I can't wait what? To hear him talk. What love does is this. Love makes you understand that the people that come around you, you are responsible to change their life. Stop looking for old preachers and Reverend McDuffie and all these old pastors to do what you're supposed to do. Because you're coming into high school, college, you're getting older, and you're going to meet a lot of people around you who got serious problems and psychological struggles. And you are sometimes the only deliverer they will ever meet. You're going to meet a woman at the well. You're going to meet someone that struggles with their identity, struggles with their mind, struggles with depression, struggles with suicide. And guess what? You'll be the one to help them. Let me say this. I'm going to close. Let me close my Bible on this. All right? Because I think I went long. True story. Who heard about the rock star who committed suicide the other day? Anybody remember he was a famous rock star. You really? No. I forgot his name. If you can look it up, his name is Ellen something. He was a famous rock star. I want you to hear me close. I'm going to show you how deep it is about depression and oppression and how it can strangle someone. And you might be the only one to help pray somebody out if you got the meat and you have the what? The water. You got some substance and you got some spirit to connect the people. This is a true story. The guy did his last concert on stage. After a packed out house, he got a wife and 2 kids. He goes to the back room and hangs himself. Now, I say to myself, what would make you take your life when you got 2 beautiful children and a beautiful wife? Because the spirit of depression is a demon. And it will lie to you and tell you that death is better, take your own life. Now, I thought the story was pretty scary at first until I heard his interview a few weeks before that. And these were some of the words he said. He says, to me, life doesn't matter much to me. This is what he's talking. I said, whoa. He says, to me, you live or die, it really doesn't matter. I said, this is a father? This is a husband talking like this? He said he felt like he was on drugs because it kind of took his mind off of stuff. And he started saying stuff. I kept reading between the lines. I said, this is the woman at the well. This man got a problem. But he was talking to someone and did not have the equipment to see through that spirit to call it out. So that spirit took him out. This is why I'm doing these Bible studies on Wednesdays here, because you are someone's hero. You are someone's deliverer. And we ain't gotta wait till Jesus come later. We ain't gotta wait thousands of years. You're gonna meet people in school and in your family who struggle with mental illness, struggle with depression, and you are going to be someone's hero. God is going to use you to bless somebody. So even at night when we go bowling, even at night when we go out to eat, don't always be so concerned about having fun, because someone might sit next to you and say, TT, I'm struggling. Or Micaiah, I've been having suicidal thoughts. Or Jasmine, I feel like no one loves me. Or I feel like I'm not pretty. I feel like I'm too short. You're going to hear a lot of stuff that people feel that they're not all up to par, and they don't feel good about themselves. And you're going to be just like Jesus that can tell them, listen, you can help lift somebody up. This is so important today. And this is why, to me, I count it a privilege to talk to all you young ladies, which is my cousin, my family, my friends, because through this love, I'm able to pour into you. That woman who met Jesus at the well went back and told that whole city, come meet a man that changed my whole life. Wouldn't it be nice that